Welcome to the Two Geeks and a Microphone podcast, your one-stop shop for television, movie, video games, comic books, book reviews, and more. Now, without further ado, here's Steven and Mike.
Good morning, everybody. Hey, welcome. So good to have you with us here on the Two Geeks and a Microphone show. I am your co-host, Mr. Stephen Boster, along with the one, the only, Mr. Michael Shanks. Mike, say hey to everybody.
Good morning to all you geeks out there in Geekdom Land, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Well, Happy New Year's Eve anyway.
Right. Yeah. Well, you know, it is what it is. I'm excited. Did you make any New Year's resolutions, or are you going to, or?
No.
No.
No. Do I have a better year than last year? Yeah, I got a New Year's resolution. I'm going to get out in my camper. That's my New Year's resolution.
Yay. That's exciting.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm curious. Anybody out there, if you do New Year's resolutions, what is your New Year's resolution? Just comment below. Let us know. I'm curious. My thing is mine's more of a, not like, hey, I want to make sure I work out every day or read my Bible every day or make sure, I catch 7 movies a year, or whatever,
We already do that.
Yeah. I think for me, it really revolves around, like, I have this concept or this attitude that the journey is the reward. In other words, I get so wrapped up in trying to get to the end that I miss the whole point of the journey to get there, if that makes sense. So it's almost like learning to be better at being present in the moment.
Hashtag resolutions suck. Sorry, I'm trying to get my microphone adjusted correctly.
It's all good.
Yeah, I just don't mess with resolutions. 9 out of 10 times, most of them within the first, 3 weeks, they're out the window anyway.
Yeah, they don't make it through February for sure.
Right. It's just like you said, you make the resolution to lose weight, you make the resolution to read your Bible or read more in general, that kind of thing. And, once January's come and gone, all that kind of goes out the window because the new year has really started to ramp up and you're getting busy again. And it's just all goes out the window. My idea is just try to make this year better than last year.
Right.
I mean, it's fine to have those goals. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying it's wrong. There's anything wrong with it. It's just when we make a big deal about resolutions, they just never seem to ever happen.
Yeah. It's kind of like, for me personally, it's kind of like, you ask your friends or your spouse or something when the Powerball is like umpteen billion zillion dollars, and you sit there and have that discussion on what would you do with the money if you won, and you have fun little stories and stuff, or whatever that may be. But we always joke that, well, I guess we'd have to actually buy a ticket, kind of a thing.
Right. Yeah. Kind of, well, that always comes up in my house because I don't buy lottery tickets.
Right. Yeah. We don't either. But I will say this is that it's the fun part of New Year's resolutions is like, it's a new year, new beginning. I want to do something new, kind of a thing. And then, it's kind of fun to dream. And so that's kind of how I view New Year's resolutions and stuff, and how, just having fun with it and stuff. So anyway, with that,
I'm not putting down anybody that does New Year's. That more power to you. That's awesome. I just stopped doing it years ago. Whatever.
Hey there. Happy New Year's Eve to Derpy 501st. Excuse me. I apologize.
Oh, nice.
When I first saw that, my brain went to 501 jeans for some reason. I should know better. It should be 501st.
And I am wearing a new Star Wars T-shirt today, by the way, with Marvel, the original Marvel comic artwork. In fact, I saw this at Walmart, and I'm like, I gotta have that shirt. I gotta have it. And part of the reason it matches a Marvel book that I have. It's
nice.
It's
a kind of does.
Yeah, it's kind of a combination of the first, like, I think 6 Marvel comic books into one little tiny book that I couldn't read anymore because the print is so small in this thing.
Right.
Get too old to be able to read print that small. I need a magnifying glass to read it, but luckily I've got all the actual issues too. So,
well, I do think it's a great segue into saying what our topic is today. So why don't you explain what our topic is today before we get into the news and Geekdar and stuff, so people know what we're here for today.
So today we're going to be discussing the 2013 Dark Horse comic series, The Star Wars. The Star Wars was taken from George Lucas's original drafts. So you remember, we all heard the stories of how George has the yellow legal pad that he had all his story ideas written down in. So basically, this comic series is based upon those notes that none of us are ever going to get to see because he won't allow anyone to see those notes.
Yeah.
And so it's probably the closest we're ever going to come to seeing those notes until he dies and somebody inherits it and sells it or something.
Right. Sells it for another gazillion dollars.
Right. Disney turns around and buys that for another $4 billion.
Yeah, I'm excited. I was not aware of this comic book series, everybody. When Mike said, oh, we should, read the Star Wars, I'm like, wait, Star Wars? The what? So no, Derpy 501st, he's asking, is it basically that his sequels? And no, it is the original first rough
oh my gosh,
draft of Star Wars as we know it today.
There are just so many likenesses to the original trilogy and so many different weird things. I mean,
yeah, I cannot wait. So Mike encouraged me to read it. I actually read it faster than I thought I would.
Yeah, you got it read before I did. I was shocked.
I enjoyed it. And I can't wait to talk about some certain aspects of it. But anyway, so Ari, there's our teaser real quick of what we're going to get into. But first, we're going to go to our geeky news.
All right, today in the geeky news.
I love that new opener you created, Mike. That is awesome. I love it.
Well, I decided we needed something more than just a sounder. We needed a video since we are kind of merging over to YouTube more than just audio. So
yes,
gotta have some video incorporated in there.
Right.
So first up, and this is according to comicbookmovie.com. It has been rumored that Robert Downey Jr. is going to return as the Iron Man. And it looks like the rumor is
Angie's excited.
I am too, actually. I really am, actually. I like Robert Downey Jr. I can't imagine anybody else playing Iron Man at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I say he play it until he can't play it no more. But yeah, so the rumor is he's going to return, and he's going to return for Avengers Secret Wars, which I'm excited about that. You don't sound so excited.
I don't know. I'm okay. I just have to see it, I guess. I may have, and I'll finish. You guys are going to hate me for this. I may be at Robert Downey fatigue in the Marvel universe.
Ah, come on.
Now,
he is Iron Man.
He was great. It was fabulous. I thought it was a great send off at the end of Endgame, but I guess for me it's like, okay, he's done now where are you going?
Move along.
Kind of a thing.
Move along.
Move along. But that's okay. They can do that. I would. Not saying that I wouldn't want to, or I'm not opposed to seeing it. I would like to see how they would do it. I'm all up for to see the story.
I'm interested how it's going to happen since he has died.
Right.
So is like Secret Wars is it going to happen in the past? I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it.
Yeah, this whole multiverse thing, who knows?
I was going to say, are we going to get a different
well, that's
version?
true. We could get a different Iron Man, but it's still played by Robert Downey Jr., also from a parallel universe, whatever, from an alternate universe. Mm-hmm. But the idea is supposedly he's going to return that, and he possibly will make an appearance in Armor Wars and Ironheart too. Which, I mean, the way they set up Ironheart, because they set up Ironheart in Wakanda Forever.
Right.
And I really wasn't pleased with the way they set it up. Okay, full disclosure, I've not read Ironheart, but from my understanding, he's still her influence. And we got nothing of that in Wakanda Forever, that she, that Tony Stark is her influence. So I don't know. I was a little disappointed with that. So I would kind of like to see him come into Ironheart and, I don't know, make that story better, much more better.
Much more better. You got it in. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers. I'm drinking my new iced coffee from my iced coffee maker, which is fabulous.
Just so everybody sees, I have a red drink. I'm drinking blood.
Nice.
I'm just kidding. I'm not drinking blood.
Well, mine does, since it is New Year's Eve, mine does have a little bit of
Kahlua?
Not Kahlua. No, I hate Kahlua. Ugh, that stuff's gross.
You're so funny.
No, this is it's almost like an Irish cream, but it's mint chocolate. Oh, it's so good.
Angie says, is it Bailey's?
No, it's not Bailey's, actually. It's Fennelly's mint chocolate liqueur.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
Right.
with a caramel vanilla creamer in it. So anyway,
moving along. Sage Page.
Good morning, Sage.
Saturdays. Great to have you here, my friend.
Yes. Thank you for joining us, Sage. So moving on with the news, James Gunn. He seems to be in the geeky news a lot. Sometime to my dismay. Anyway, apparently I don't know if he tweeted or if he's using another, I don't know. But apparently he tweeted out this picture a couple days ago, and people have identified this picture as being with the comic book storyline Up in the Sky, Superman Up in the Sky.
Oh,
so
okay.
It is rumored. Oh, and not only that, Tom King wrote that story, and Tom King is also saying that he got a Hollywood break. So a lot of people are putting this together, asking, what does this mean? What is it? Everybody's looking at anything James Gunn tweets as a hidden message. Okay.
Oh, sure.
And it could be a hidden message. It could be he's screwing with all of us.
Right.
I mean, I gotta admit, if I was James Gunn in that position, I think I'd be tweeting all kinds of crap just to go, oh, let's see what they say.
Right.
Heck, I would tweet Batmite.
Oh.
Are the three geeky dads in the chat? Because I know how much they love Batmite. See, Megan got me a Batmite for my birthday. I like Batmite. Anyway, I would tweet something like Batmite just to watch people's heads explode, So I don't know. We'll see if that's possible, but I don't know. Maybe we will go over the Superman Up in the Sky.
Up in the Sky.
Just to see what it's about. Because I've never read the story, and supposedly it's really good. So I would read that. But I think we got breaking news, didn't we, Steven?
Maybe
we got an exclusive. We got an exclusive from James Gunn himself.
We're moving up in the world, by golly.
Yeah. So James Gunn apparently is watching our show. He sent us his exclusive trailer that he's just released. The first project that James Gunn has announced for DCU is the Justice League, and we've got the trailer.
And here we go.
This is exclusive. And here they are, the Justice League.
Everybody, for those who are listening, we're showing a video clip. Right now it's black and white of 1997 Justice League of America.
Featuring the Atom. He shrinks down and gets eaten by a cat. I have no idea who she is. Green Lantern. I have no clue who she is.
All right.
The Flash. The Martian
Manhunter. Ta-da!
Okay, don't show it again.
Right. I'm not showing it again. Trust me. Mike wanted to show a 1997 trailer. It was a official teaser of a pilot for a show that I don't think ever aired.
No, it didn't. No, that was not from 1997. That's James Gunn's first project for the DCU. At this point, it might as well be.
Right?
He ain't giving us anything else. No, really. If you thought Justice League was bad, watch this.
Right.
Actually, I wished I could find a copy of this. I would so love to watch this.
Right.
I think it's on par with Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, honestly. Actually, Santa Claus Conquers the Martians might be a better film.
I don't know. Those look like good graphics for 20 some odd years ago, almost 25 years ago.
No, they didn't. They were horrible. Terrible. Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh. All right.
It doesn't even look like he's running at super speed.
Right.
All right. Should we move on to our meeting?
We should move on. Moving on, everybody.
Oh, wait. Geekdar. Do you have anything for Geekdar?
I had something. What did I have for Geekdar?
All right, I'll play the sounder and you think about that.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
You don't need that, Private. We're right here. Now, what is it?
We need a video of this.
Now, what is it? I'm having trouble with the radar, sir. What's wrong with it? I've lost the bleeps, I've lost the sweeps, and I've lost the creeps. The what? The what? And the what? You know, the bleeps, the sweeps, and the creeps. It's not all he's lost.
Yep. It's not all we've lost. All right. I do have something on my Geekdar. It's rather old though.
Well, that's okay. Go ahead.
So this week I introduced Megan to some movies that I realized I had never introduced her to, and I was like, "Oh, we got to watch these." After all, I've been off all this week, so I've been working on the YouTube page. I've been working on the podcast and watching movies. That's what I've been doing, and reading comic books. That's what I've been doing this week. So I think I've been pretty productive. Anyway, Megan has a friend in Canada, so I'm always making jokes about take off, you hoser, and she doesn't quite get it. So I was like, all right, you got to see Bob and Doug McKenzie's Strange Brew. We've got to watch it. So, and then thinking of Bob and Doug McKenzie, I naturally gravitated to Party On, Wayne. Party on, Garth.
Wayne's World.
Wayne's World. Excellent. Party on.
Party on.
Which
Game on.
I say that we are the Wayne's World of podcasting, but so party on, Steven.
Right on. Well,
so anyway, we watched Bob and Doug McKenzie's Strange Brew, and we watched Wayne's World, and we also watched several clips of Bob and Doug McKenzie's SCTV, clips from the Strange or the Bob and Doug McKenzie show that was actually on SCTV. For those who don't know, SCTV is kind of like Saturday Night Live for Canada. I also like to equate it to like the minor leagues to Saturday Night Live. Of course, nowadays Saturday Night Live just sucks, but
they're not as near as good as they were years ago.
No, they're nothing like they were.
They're not as creative. They spend more time just doing political stuff rather than just trying to be creative with good new skits and content.
But back then, Saturday Night Live was something.
It was, yeah.
And SCTV was really kind of like their minor leagues because, like, John Candy came out of SCTV. Mike Myers came out of SCTV. Rick Moranis and Dave Thomas, they came out of SCTV. There's a bunch of them. There's a whole list out there of everybody that came from SCTV. So we watched Bob and Doug McKenzie, Strange Brew, and we watched Wayne's World, and she loved both of them.
Very nice.
It was so much fun.
Very nice.
Party on.
Yeah, I'll be real quick. So we, son Troy loves football. And so we introduced him to the Water
Dallas Cowboys.
No, not Dallas Cowboys. You're funny. To the movie.
They won again Thursday night, by the way.
Yeah. I don't care.
We're going to playoffs. I am wearing my Cowboys hat, too. Sorry.
Yes.
I'm being a jerk right now.
You and your Cowboys. Oh, gosh. So we introduced him to the movie The Waterboy. And with Adam Sandler.
That's some quality H2O.
Yeah, that's right. That's some high quality H2O. So yeah. But the famous phrase, Rob Schneider, you can do it.
You can do it. You can do it all night long.
Yeah. So we had a good time with that. And then the rest of my week was really just trying to make sure I got in our reading for today. So I'm pretty excited.
Hey, I'm impressed you did. All right. So speaking of that.
Angie said, water sucks. It really, really sucks. Yeah, it's like Gatorade. Those are some of my favorite phrases from the movie. All right, are we ready?
Yeah, I'm trying to find our main event.
Yeah.
It's time for the main event. There we go. How's that?
That's great. That's why I made a sounder so you didn't do that anymore. I don't know. I can't find it right now. Did I accidentally pull it out of here? Oh, well. All right. So we're in the main event. I'll have it next week. I promise. Sorry. I do like our sounder, though. We worked hard on that.
That's
all right. So 2013, Dark Horse Comic Books, The Star Wars, George Lucas's original draft. Steven, what'd you think?
Star Wars, nothing but Star Wars. Okay, so here's my overall view. What do you want to do out of whatchamacallit? Out of 10?
Shoot. I didn't even think about this. I don't know. Let's just go lightsabers.
Sounds good because it looked like everybody had one.
Even stormtroopers. Okay, I got a Ralph McQuarrie action figure, which has a lightsaber to it.
Well,
or as George Lucas would call it, that's a laser sword.
Right. Well, I tell you what, you can see Ralph McQuarrie influenced are in this whole thing. So I will give it, actually, if you remove yourself from what you know of Star Wars and just take it on its own as a story in the Star Wars universe that happens to have the same names of different people and things like that, I give it 9 out of 10. I enjoyed it.
Excuse me. Sorry, Megan's wrecking our studio right now. Megan knocked down my guitar.
Back.
You gave it how much? I'm sorry.
9 out of 10.
9. Awesome.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the story. I really did.
I totally agree with you. You have to remove yourself from the current Star Wars completely. Mm-hmm. I look at this very similar to Splinter of the Mind's Eye.
Oh, Alan Dean Foster.
Yes,
yeah.
Alan Dean Foster's novel, Splinter of the Mind's Eye, which was it was going to be a possible sequel to Star Wars had Star Wars not done well. They would have made a made-for-TV movie from the novel Splinter of the Mind's Eye. And a lot of fans hate that book. I mean, it's weird. It's very trippy. But I actually love the book. I think it's a fantastic book. It's a great read. But to me, it's more of a historical read. I don't look at it as anything to do with Star Wars canon whatsoever, but I read it from a Star Wars historical point of view.
So that's how you view.
Exactly.
Ah, okay.
That's exactly the way I look at the Star Wars.
Okay.
Because they're pulling this straight from George Lucas's story treatment. Again, it's what we've famously heard was written down in that yellow notepad, and every Star Wars fan wants to see that yellow notepad. And I think this is the closest we're ever going to get to it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So to me, that's exciting on it alone.
Wasn't this authorized?
Yes. Oh yeah. It's official Dark Horse comic book. And this is when Dark Horse was in control. This was one of the last projects Dark Horse did before Disney pulled the rug out from underneath them. Disney had just purchased Star Wars from George Lucas right around the time they were working on this project.
Okay.
So this is one of their final projects. Now, Dark Horse has regained some of the Star Wars licensing over the last year. Actually, they're doing some. I picked up a couple of them. They're very kiddish, though. They're not the Dark Horse of Star Wars of old. Dark Horse Star Wars of old is some of the best Star Wars out there, honestly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, is that you've got they did their adaptation of Heir to the Empire. They did
I'd like to see that. I haven't read that. I need to read that.
Oh, Heir to the Empire.
I've read the novels, but not the comics.
Yeah. They did that. They did what was it? Dark Empire and Dark Empire 2.
Oh yeah.
Where Luke actually goes to the dark side.
Runs to the dark side.
Yeah. So there's some good stuff in that. That's where Tales of the Jedi came out of.
Okay. So let me ask you this. If you had to summarize this story, for those who may not have read it, how would you summarize the story?
Oh, that's a good question. Man, that's hard to say. This story, coming from somebody who's lived through the entire Star Wars saga, from the beginning, from day one,
right?
This story is so weird. I mean, it's like somebody took the Star Wars universe and put it in one of those snow globes and then shook it up. That's what it is. I mean,
fair enough.
Because you've got elements from Star Wars. You got elements from Empire Strikes Back. You got even elements from Empire or Return of the Jedi.
You do. I was shocked at all the different allusions to all three movies.
I mean, and there's a few of the scenes that are almost identical. Almost,
Not
and then
quite, but almost.
Right. Yeah. And it's like, oh my gosh, this is the way he wanted it to happen. It's so weird.
His original rough draft.
Now, right. Yeah. I understand that.
I want to get in a plot synopsis here in a minute, but I do want to ask you this. If you had to rate this as you had to give it the movie MPAA rating, PG-13 or rated R. What would you give this?
I think I'd still stick with a PG.
I'm all PG-13 all the way.
Really? You think?
Oh yeah. Oh yes, absolutely.
I didn't think it was any more violent than,
I thought it was more adult themed in the aspect of the tension, some killings that occurred in it. I'm like, this is not the kid PG friendly story.
Okay.
Of the Star Wars 1977 as we know it. It's like, I can get that this is probably his first draft. I actually, after going through it, I was like, yeah, I could get that. I could see that in this.
Definitely. I agree with that.
It's a little gritty. So I'll explain some of that here in a minute as we talk synopsis. But yeah, I was curious as I read it. I was like, man, I wonder what Mike thinks about if this really would have been a PG. Now granted, 1977 we didn't have PG-13 yet. That came with the Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom takes credit for creating that.
No, some of our some of the movies that we watched as kids would now be rated R that were rated PG. And there are sometimes I watch back at some of those going, wow, I can't believe my parents let me watch this.
Right. Okay, so let me ask you this. So synopsis, because I really wanted to let everybody know kind of what the story is and why it's so different and that kind of a thing. So how shall we say, the opening page, I was going to read this. The opening page gives a little synopsis. It says, back in 1974, still years before a film called Star Wars would take the world by storm, George Lucas completed the first rough draft screenplay of what he then called The Star Wars. The original screenplay contains all of the now familiar elements of Star Wars: an evil empire, a young would-be Jedi, an older Jedi Knight who mentors the boy, a princess in need of rescue, even a father who is more machine than man, but put together in ways far different than what you have seen on screen. And that's the opening page of the first comic. And then it talks about being 4 decades, nearly 4 decades, the original George Lucas's original vision of the galaxy far, far away, it existed as what might have been. And
right.
I like that. So the opening crawl says this, because I wanted to give this. Until the recent Great Rebellion, the Jedi Bindu were the most feared warriors in the universe. For 100,000 years, generations of Jedi perfected their art as the personal bodyguards of the Emperor. They were the chief architects of the invincible Imperial Space Force. I'm just kidding. Which expanded the empire across the galaxy from the celestial equator to the farthest reaches of the Great Rift. Now these legendary warriors are all but extinct. One by one, they have been hunted down and destroyed as enemies of the new empire by a ferocious and sinister rival warrior sect, the Knights of Sith. Dun dun dun.
Sorry, I was just looking at comments. So
it's all right. I was sneezing. I got sneeze. Excuse me. Sorry, everybody. So,
Derpy made a comment here. Hear me out. Wait a minute. Hear me out. Give me Old Republic movie trilogy or series sort of tone like Andor. I don't know if he's saying that this is kind of like Andor. I'm not sure what he means by that.
Yeah.
I didn't quite get Andor feels from this. You know what I did get though? I got not Buck Rogers. Flash Gordon feels from this. Very much.
Yes.
Very much Flash Gordon. And George Lucas originally wanted to do his version of Flash Gordon. That's what led up to making
Flash. Yeah, sorry.
Of the universe. Sorry. Yeah, I'll be making my appearance on America's Idol.
Right.
Actually, I could compete with some of those morons that go try out for that show. Oh my gosh.
Right.
We watched some of the tryouts. I was like, I can't believe these people really think they can sing. Ugh. Anyway, I'm a horrible singer and I sing better than some of them. Anyhow, George Lucas originally wanted to do Flash Gordon, and he couldn't obtain the rights to Flash Gordon, which is funny because after Star Wars became a huge hit, Flash Gordon was released as a big budget movie.
Right.
So down to the headgear that they wear, it looks a lot like what was worn in the old Flash Gordon serials. It had the feel and style of the serials and everything. Each comic book kind of felt like a cliffhanger type thing.
Yes.
Going into the next one. So, I could see how his original vision was very Flash Gordon-esque.
Mm-hmm.
I got a kick out of when you were just reading that, how they called the Jedi Bendu.
Yes.
Because that in the Clone Wars, not Clone Wars, in Rebels, we got introduced to the mysterious Bendu. And it was voiced by the great, the one and only, the genuine article, you might say, Tom Baker, Doctor Who himself. My doctor.
Right.
But I think it's really cool reading through this, and you're seeing names of characters that got jumbled around, So you got Annikin Starkiller in this, which we know Starkiller went off to be a successful video game. And in my opinion, one incredible character that should be introduced into the Star Wars universe sometime at one point. So you got that evolved into that video game, which was pretty neat.
The Force Unleashed.
Yeah, the Force Unleashed video game, which was just incredible video game. So that evolved into that. Owen and Lars were not Luke's.
Owen and Beru.
Yeah, Owen Lars and Beru Lars. They weren't Luke's uncle, but they were Wendy and what was the other twin's name? Wendy and I can't think of what the other twin's name is. Because there were twins, and they were the brothers to Princess Leia.
Right.
I mean, it's just mind blowing.
Right. The Lars were on the Wookiee, where the Wookiees were on the planet where some Wookiees were. They were.
Oh, and Han Solo. Han Solo is not a human character. He's some kind of alien. Right. He's a green alien. Yes. Right. Yeah. Wow. It's mind blowing.
Yeah, I was just saying that the Owen and Beru were anthropologists studying, later on they were there, studying the Wookiees and stuff like that, which was interesting. Yes, you do have, like Starkiller. There was his dad, who was it Dane? I can't remember all of a sudden.
I can't remember either.
But anyway, so they introduced them on this planet, and there's the dad, which is the Starkiller dad. Then there's Anakin, and then and he's trying to. Anakin's the older brother, and then he has a younger brother who ends up. I don't remember his name because he ends up getting killed like on the 6th page by a Sith. And I was like, oh, we're killing kids. Boom. You're right at PG-13 level for me.
Okay, there you go.
Period.
Oh, it's Starkiller punches Princess Leia too.
Right.
That blew my mind. And then, oh gosh, George Lucas never did improve at writing love stories. That's for sure. Because you got like Starkiller punching Princess Leia, and then it's like the next page. I love you. I love you too. It's what? Where did this come from?
Well, that was a couple of books later, but where they confess their love for one another.
It came off.
It was weird. It was weird. Yes.
So right. George Lucas never improved at that.
Right. Right.
Hmm.
So the Sith opener there in the first episode or the first issue, I liked that Sith. I mean, I was like, ooh, but everybody and their brothers got a red lightsaber. Like there wasn't different colored lightsabers. I don't know if you noticed that or not, but when the Sith had red, Anakin had a red lightsaber. I think Anakin's dad, Starkiller, I can't remember his name. Had one, but the stormtroopers had white laser swords. I'll put it that way. I'll give you that one. They had the white laser swords.
They're laser swords.
Yeah. So
laser.
Yeah. So the big thing here is the big picture of the story. Everybody, just to kind of see. And I encourage you, if you have a Marvel Unlimited subscription, read it. It's worth it. The emperor of the new empire is sending the Death Star, for lack of a better term. They've built a Death Star, sending it to this planet where they're trying to do politics, and they're going to send a peace treaty. We're going to make peace, and no, and they're it's the same political.
That felt a lot like episode 1 there. The whole peace treaty.
It did feel like episode 1. Yes. Right. Agreed.
And then you had those tanks in there. They looked like
they were from episode 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's correct. And so that's where the hijinks do. They end up destroying the rulers of the planet, who happen to be Princess Leia's parents. They had been part of the galaxy, one of the ruling families, for thousands of years. And so her and her brothers. And so the whole issue is Starkiller goes to try to help. In return, he runs into, there is already Luke Skywalker, the general, who's a Jedi, who takes Anakin,
who happens to look a lot like George Lucas himself.
Yeah, I actually kind of enjoyed that. Actually,
I did too. I thought it was cool. I mean,
yeah,
why not make George Lucas Luke Skywalker? I have no issues with it at all. It's just I found it kind of funny. That's all.
Yep. Then Anakin becomes the Padawan to Luke Skywalker because his dad is dying, and reveals that this was a surprise to me. Like, he's almost all machine. He takes it, he rips his shirt and stuff because I'm dying, kind of a thing. And then he sacrifices himself, and you get different characters in there. Then they have to try to escape the planet with Princess Leia and her brothers, and just all kinds of hijinks, all through this thing, back and forth and stuff. And then they land in the trash compactor, and you've got that scene, and then you've got the Wookiees, which are kind of like the Ewok story, and it was
reading this, I really got the feeling that scene in Return of the Jedi was originally supposed to be the Wookiees instead of the Ewoks.
I wondered, I wondered myself too. Yeah. And
then they switched it to give something a cute element, which the funny thing is, a lot of people say, a lot of hardcore fans are like, I hate the Ewoks, and I never had that feeling towards the Ewoks. I always loved the Ewoks. Mm-hmm. And maybe it's because I was a little bit younger when Return of the Jedi came out. I don't know. I mean, I was 12, so, I don't know. I just never had that issue. I always liked the Ewoks. But reading this, I'm sitting here going, wow. So the Ewok scene actually should have been Wookiees, not Ewoks.
Right.
And I found that quite interesting.
Yeah. In the same story, instead of, like in Return of the Jedi, C-3PO was a god to the Ewoks.
Yeah.
Annikin Starkiller becomes a god to the Wookiees. Right. And you got Chewbacca in there and stuff. And Han Solo is a green alien, like you were saying.
Which was weird. It was so weird.
Yeah, it was kind of fun. And so you've got all these elements that are similar names and stuff. And like Alderaan was the capital planet, kind of a thing. I don't know if you caught that. That's where the Emperor was. And so it was.
Well, and then you look at the bad guys. So you've got the Emperor, and then you got Darth Vader, but Darth Vader is not a Sith.
Yeah, he was like a big bad general.
Right. And the funny thing is his suit looked like Vader's suit, but then he didn't have the helmet, or at least he didn't have the faceplate.
Right. He didn't have the faceplate. He had the thing. And I part of me wondered if that's just they were drawing from some of the original Ralph McQuarrie stuff, because I thought they were very heavily influenced by Ralph McQuarrie work.
Oh, definitely. I mean, they had.
And I think it mentioned it in the Zero issue. There's 8 issues plus one more, which is the Zero.
I've got the Zero right here in front of me, actually.
I think in there they reference that they pulled from Ralph McQuarrie. I think.
Well, yeah, they definitely did.
You can see it. I mean, if you're familiar with Ralph McQuarrie's work, you can see it in there.
Well, you just look at the Death Star alone. The Death Star and the design of the stormtroopers. Megan, catch up. The stormtroopers alone. I love the look of the stormtroopers. They're amazing. They look a lot like the more modern dark troopers is what they look like, except they're white instead of black. But they're incredible looking stormtroopers. I love the look of them. And the Death Star is, it looks, I don't know, it has more of this a little bit more of a smooth surface compared to what we know the Death Star is today. And yeah, if you look at the original Ralph McQuarrie paintings and see that Death Star, it's identical. It is. So they were heavily influenced, and that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing at all. I love Ralph McQuarrie's artwork. He was one of the best.
He's incredible. Yeah.
He was incredible.
Probably, one of the best concept artists when you go back and look at the work that he did and how it influenced. He is the influence of Star Wars as well.
And his work is still influencing Star Wars to this day.
Yeah. I
mean,
we saw it in Boba Fett.
Yep.
We saw actual, they created a set right out of a Ralph McQuarrie.
Well, Vader's castle came from Ralph McQuarrie's work. There's several stuff that Dave Filoni's used in both Clone Wars and Rebels that he's pulled from Ralph McQuarrie. Not to mention Dave Filoni also throws in Kenner action figure stuff, which I absolutely love.
Right. So the Sith, we have a Sith Lord kind of that we get, and I liked him. I was like, I like this character. I like this Sith guy. Who then at the end, when you think there's just about to be a big battle between him and Anakin.
Oh, I'm just reading Sage pages.
They join forces, and so I thought it was interesting how they kind of joined forces a little bit, only because it was respect for their religion over an empire that wanted to snuff them out.
Yeah,
that's how I took it, and I thought that was an interesting twist.
The Jedi Bendu and the Sith, it was almost more. It felt more like different denominations of a religion,
Yeah, like Catholic and Baptists.
Right. I was going to
Catholics are the Jedi Bendu, and the Baptists are the Sith.
I was going to say Baptist Methodist, but yeah, same difference.
No, because the Methodists have already beat the Baptists to the buffet. I'm just saying.
I don't think anyone beats the Baptist to the buffet.
Real quick, everybody, I got to tell this joke. I'm sorry, I got to tell this joke real quick.
Go for it.
It was Share Your Faith Day at school, and in elementary school, and one of the little girls comes up, and her name was Tiffany, and they said, "Hi, my name's Tiffany, and I'm Catholic, and these are rosary beads." So they were all sharing different things and stuff. And then little boy by the name of Joshua comes up, and Joshua says, "Hi, my name's Joshua. I'm Jewish, and this is the Star of David." And then little Mikey comes up and says, "Hi, my name's Mikey. I'm Baptist, and this is a casserole."
that wasn't me, by the way, because I hate the name Mikey, by the way. Call me Mike. You can call me Michael.
But don't call me Mikey.
There's only a few people that I allow to get away with that. Anyway.
Right. Anyway, so Sith as different denominations, I love that. I like how you said that. I think that's spot on.
I thought that was interesting. So when you seen that, I mean, the Sith, he wasn't actually the bad guy. Darth Vader was still the bad guy. He was still the main protagonist in the story, which was interesting, But yet the Sith did kill, wow.
They killed Anakin's younger brother.
Yeah.
I tell you what, though, I remember when the Sith went into action. Was it him or Starkiller just slicing up people in half? Oh, Luke Skywalker.
He didn't slice Luke Skywalker.
No. Luke Skywalker sliced some people in half. Okay. Super speed. It's like, honestly, you get the super speed that you actually see in episode 1. Which you never see again, by the way.
Steven, that's faster, more intense.
Right.
I'm going to get George Lucas in here. and we'll edit it in post.
Right. What did you like best out of this whole thing? What was your favorite part, or some of your favorite parts within the whole series?
To me, it's the whole series is eye candy. It's just eye candy for me.
Okay.
I love looking over the Ralph McQuarrie style artwork.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just total eye candy. If nothing else, look at it for that.
Right.
It's amazing. It really, really is. Beautiful, beautiful. The covers are just gorgeous.
Oh, they're incredible.
Oh my gosh. Some of the best comic book art out there, honestly.
Yeah.
So good. And to be honest, the inside artwork is almost as good as the cover art. It does step down a notch because you're going several panels and you got a lot of things happening.
Uh-huh.
But it still maintains that same Ralph McQuarrie feel.
Yes.
And that's what I really enjoyed about this. And then I really liked, to me, like all the quote unquote Easter eggs of things. I mean, I look at them as Easter eggs now, but
right.
Yeah. But just seeing names getting thrown out there, and I'm going, whoa, that character is this person in the movies.
Right.
Some of it is so mind blowing, but it is a perfect example of how George Lucas does not throw any ideas away.
Oh, great call.
Everything that he writes, he puts aside. If he says, okay, we can't use it, it's not going to work for this.
Yeah.
He puts it aside. And then later on, he might come back to it years later and go, that would work for this. And you can see that throughout this entire series.
You can really see how the editing process happens.
Oh yeah.
You can.
Yeah.
Let me share a couple of the screenshots for those who are joining us on YouTube.
That issue number 1 alone is just gorgeous.
Issue number 1 is just fabulous looking. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. So there's that one. Then here is issue number 2, which you see Anakin and Luke Skywalker on it primarily.
Right.
Here is issue number 5 that you see the love story, blossoming Princess Leia and Anakin. Yeah. Right. And then this is episode 8. You see Darth Vader with the helmet,
right?
With no, as you said, no faceplate.
But then when you see the Sith, he has the mouth covering, or the the COVID mask.
Right. I think that's in the first here. Well, that Sith, that's the Sith that's in the very beginning. But there's a different Sith. Let me see if I'll try to pull that up here in a second too. So. But
I know it's just one of the covers.
Yeah, the cover arts are just.
But it's almost like
he
took the Sith and Darth Vader and mashed them together to come up with what we know today as the modern Darth Vader.
Correct. Agreed. Yeah.
At least that's the feeling I got. Also, there were no X-Wings. There were all Y-Wings, Y-Wing fighters. There we go. Yeah. There's the mouthpiece covering half of his face.
Mm-hmm.
See, you put that together with Darth Vader's helmet, you got everything but the eyes covered up then at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. It was well worth the read. I'm so glad that you recommended us do that. I enjoyed the series.
It's kind of funny how we stumbled onto this. So in 2013, when this series came out, I had started collecting the comics, the individual issues.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I had only gotten the first two and never got the rest. So a couple months ago, I go into Fantasy Books, my comic book store.
Your dealer, your supplier.
my dealer. Yeah. Yep, that's exactly what. Anyway, so I went in there one day, and the girls behind the counter, she happened to have copies of a few of the issues of the Star Wars up there at the counter. And I was like, wait a minute, is that Dark Horse, the Star Wars? She's like, yes, it is. And she goes, are you interested in them? I said, what issues you got there? And she's like, actually, I got issue 0, and then I've got 3 through 8. And I said, do me a favor, because I wasn't sure which ones I had. I said, do me a favor, throw those in my pull. I'll be back later today. And I went straight home and I checked, and I'm like, I've got issues 1 and 2. This completes
the set. Did you get them?
Oh yeah, I turned right back around and I told you I was going to come back, and I bought all of them that day. You know, I'm like, oh no, I'm not passing this up. I need to complete this set. Boom.
Did you tell them you had 1 and 2?
Yes, I did. Yeah. Because I'm like, I've got to complete it. And so then I started talking to you about it and telling you about it. And I was like,
yeah.
And you were the one that said, well, let's do an episode on it. I said, sure,
yeah.
Let's do it. And then I was fearing you wouldn't read it.
Right, that I would Steven skip it.
Yes. That was my biggest fear. I'm like, it's 8 issues. Is he going to have time, or is he going to Steven skip this whole thing?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I had read, I was behind the 8 ball. I had kind of tried to budget time to do like 2 issues a day over the week. And
that's what I was doing, but you beat me.
I did. Cause we were having dinner at family was in town and stuff. And so we were doing like a family dinner, and then everybody kind of went off to do some other family stuff. And I was like, well, I'm just sitting here on the couch. I brought my tablet, and I started reading away, and I was like, yeah. So
yeah, you were reading electronically. I was reading the actual hard copies.
Right on.
Which, by the way, that's issue 0.
Yeah.
And it features General Luke Skywalker, which looks
like George.
Incredibly like George Lucas.
They probably did that on purpose, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure they do. And I'm not mad about it. Not in the least.
Same here.
I mean, if it was my creation, I kind of want the main hero to look like me. Why not? You know,
right?
I am kind of disappointed he's not wearing a flannel shirt throughout this.
Har har har. It was underneath his general coat.
His flannel shirt, his denim jeans, and his tennis shoes.
Right.
That's all the man wears. He's kind of got my fashion sense, except I wear t-shirts instead of flannel shirts.
Hey, sometimes it's all about function.
and the man's hair is kind of like Fonzie. You know, I don't think a comb ever touches that thing. You know, it's always perfect. He's got the nicely trimmed beard too. So.
Right. See, we've come full circle, everybody, because Fonzie was in Waterboy. Gatorade.
Henry Winkler. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he was kind of a 70s icon too. So
That he was. That's awesome.
All right.
All right. Wow. Well, everybody, I hope you enjoyed it. The discussion. I hope you go out and read it. It is a fun read. If you are a Star Wars fan, you do need to read this. It serves as probably great background lore development in the process of
Yes.
what becomes what we know today. It is interesting, and it moves quick. It is a fast-paced action. There's constantly
Yes,
something
sir.
going on all through it. And I think that goes back to what you said, Mike, about it is serialized. It is a serial Flash Gordon style. One thing, boom, 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 right after the other.
Well, you can tell reading this that George Lucas really lived by his philosophy of faster, more intense.
Right. Yep. So, all right. Well, very cool. Anything else you want to add to our discussion real quick? I want to make sure I don't cut you off too soon.
All I got to say is that if you enjoy Star Wars, like the makings of Star Wars, how Star Wars happened, I highly recommend this series. It's an enjoyable read. It's fun to see the differences, what could have been versus what we got today. It's fun to see that. It's just very intriguing Star Wars history is what it is. And which, again, it's exactly the way I look at Splinter of the Mind's Eye. I look at it exactly the same way. I don't think of it as Star Wars canon at all, but it is fun to look at that, read it, and go, wow, this is what Star Wars could have become. Like it or not, that's what it could have become. So, I don't know. To me, that's interesting. I find that fascinating. So,
yep.
If you're into that stuff.
Yep. Very cool. Well, hey, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. Real quick, I want to make sure I remind you about our sponsor, which is Audible. If you go to this website, audibletrial.com/2geeks, TWOGEEKS, audibletrial.com. Check out Audible. If I love audiobooks, and I have a ton of them, and I've enjoyed my subscription, and I just want to encourage you that if you want to get your first one free, like free trial, 30 days, you get any one, whatever your choice, whatever you want, you get a free audiobook just for trying them out for 30 days. And they have all kinds of genres, anything you can imagine, anything you can think of, just thousands upon thousands of different audiobooks that they have. While we're thinking about Star Wars, I've said this all month long, my favorite audiobook has been the Shakespeare Star Wars series. And so I encourage you to check that out. It's a lot of fun. It's like watching the movie or listening to the movie, but in Shakespearean style, all the way down from the soliloquies to the iambic pentameter and all that. And it's a hoot and all that. So,
you just reminded me of something that we did forget to mention. And just like those, R2 in those kind of has a voice, and R2 throughout this comic series, he actually spoke. I completely forgot that. I wanted to mention that too, and it's kind of fascinating because you get the other half of the R2 and
R2C3PO,
and some of them were taken directly from the Star Wars script too. A few of them are, so that's neat. That is
it was good. Yes.
Sorry, it just popped in my head.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, everybody check it out. audibletrial.com/2geeks. If you go check that out, and if you decide you want to sign up, that does help us with our show as well. So we do appreciate the support. Thank you. And be sure to check out our website, 2geeks, the number 2geeksmike.com. That is our website for all things 2geeks. That is our main hub to get to everything else, to our merch page, to our Ko-fi page where you can support us. It's a Patreon style system. Ko-fi.com/2geeks, KO-fi.com /2geeks. The cool thing about that is we have a $1 tier. tier, a $2 tier, and a $3 tier. And we do all kinds of fun stuff monthly. We've got a monthly sci-fi show that we do. And for those who help support us, plus you get access to all kinds of other stuff as well. If you ever want to contact us, please check us out at show@twogeeksmike.com. If you ever want to shoot us ideas or things you'd like us to talk about, or just want to say hello, we'd love to hear from you. show@twogeeksmike.com. All right. Whew. Did I get it all?
Well, the only thing else I got to mention is please make sure and go like us on Facebook and click that subscribe button on YouTube, and also make sure and go and like the individual YouTube videos, because the more of those that you go like, the more it helps the algorithm, helps us get seen. And just share us with a friend. You know, if you got a friend who would like this geeky type of stuff, share us with them. We'd like to see our YouTube channel grow. So with that said, that's all I've got.
Right on. Okay, everybody. Well, hey, thanks for joining us. Mike, I'll let you sign us out.
All right. Over and out. And I'm trying to find our outro. Over and out. And may the force of others be with you. Thank you for joining us today on the Two Geeks and a Microphone podcast. Tune in next week when we will have more news and reviews. Until then,